A motorcycle speeds by with a single rider. Right behind it, another bike, and a man on foot trying to keep up. From another angle, the first bike stops at the corner, and the rider gets off with the calm of someone who knows exactly what they're doing. The second motorcycle brings the famous "take it and don't pay" duo, arriving confident, as if they were about to close out the day's earnings. But suddenly, the mood shifts, and that collective feeling hits. Better leave and pretend nothing happened. For one of them, though, it was already too late. He ended up stretched out in the middle of the confusion, with no bike and no plan. His partner, our Romeo of the asphalt, decided he had an urgent appointment and quietly slipped away, leaving his buddy behind. The mysterious rider, on the other hand, was quick. He checked that everything was under control and left the scene in a few seconds, as if it were just another day at work. Minutes later, Romeo comes back, full of regret, trying to fix the situation, but realizes that chapter's already closed. He takes only the motorcycle and leaves his partner on the asphalt, thinking about life and the not-so-smart choices of the day.
Notice this guy in a cap, walking quickly down the street in the middle of the night. Just ahead, someone comes walking in the opposite direction, and a few seconds later, the famous improv duo shows up on a motorcycle with that suspicious hurry. They get close and start the same old little act. But what they didn't know is that the man in the cap was, let's say, a quick response specialist, used to acting without needing an appointment. When he hears the command, he reacts firmly, changes position, steps away, and starts the reflex show. The duo quickly realizes the idea wasn't their best and switches to escape mode. One takes off running, the other trips over his own script and gets a closer look at the pavement. Right after, the quick response doctor grabs his phone and informs the control center that there was an emergency appointment outside the schedule. In the end, confusion over, no one seriously hurt, and one more bizarre scene added to the Urban Improv archive.
The security cameras capture everything in a matter of seconds. It looks like just one motorcycle passing by, but there are two. Up front, a man going about his life as usual. Behind him, the famous duo Romeo and Juliet, well known from the Wet Snore Squad. They pull up beside him and make that classic approach of someone who wants to talk up close. The man cooperates, not realizing that he, in fact, was a quick response specialist, the kind who stays calm even when the mood shifts. Romeo switches to confused running mode, trips, and goes down. Juliet still tries to insist, but gives up halfway and speeds off, leaving her partner behind. Moments later, backup arrives, Romeo stays to settle things, and the street is clear again.
Heavy traffic on the street, when one motorcycle gets surrounded by two others, forming an unexpected trio. The surrounded rider raises a hand with barely any room to react, but right behind them was an experienced responder, patiently waiting for the exact moment to step in with precision. When the group got a little too confident, the protocol simply appeared out of nowhere. No one knew where it came from. They just felt the atmosphere change instantly. Two members ended up on the ground, rethinking their choices. The third began an improvised sprint through the neighborhood, hoping to escape the situation. Final outcome? One exited the scene for good. Another earned some time in a special reserved accommodation. The runner was found later and received the same destination. In the final report, 2 motorcycles recovered, the third returned to its owner, and the responder completed the operation without a scratch. Professional work.
A taxi is parked on an almost empty street. 2 passengers standing outside, quick chat, strange gestures. Suddenly, both of them take off running as if a flip-flop sale had just started on the corner. Curious detail, they were carrying a simple bread knife, straight out of Grandma's kitchen. What they didn't know is that the taxi driver was actually an off-duty police officer, the kind of professional who doesn't lose his cool. When the duo realizes the situation has changed and tries to run, everything falls apart. One sprints away without looking back, the other trips over his own bad luck and hits the ground. The lawful cabbie calls for backup, reports what happened, and ends his shift early. End of the episode. No innocent person was hurt, and the Wet Snore Squad earned one more embarrassing chapter on their record.
The security cameras record the moment a man gets into a white car. Up to that point, just an ordinary scene. But soon, two guys come running toward the vehicle. They're not there to help push the car, it's the famous grab and vanish squad arriving at full speed. They approach as if they were closing a full package deal. Everything they can get, and if possible, the car too. To make it worse, one of them seems to have taken a selective escape course. He just wanted to know if he'd be able to drive it. Meanwhile, the lady watches from a distance, calm. A little later, a black car slowly appears in the scene. Inside, an off-duty police officer, low profile, assessing everything carefully. The real, reliable delivery man. One runs one way, the other runs the other way, and the plan falls apart instantly. In the end, nothing was taken from the couple. The officer walked away unharmed. And the grab and vanish squad? They left a scene with nothing but their flip-flops behind and a lot of embarrassment on their resume.
A delivery rider approaches a pedestrian. Quick chat, strange smile, and suddenly reveals he's not there to deliver anything. Nothing to do with deliveries. He starts the usual checklist: watch, chain, phone, even the wedding ring that looked permanently attached to the finger. The pedestrian tries to pull it off, insists, until he finally hands it over. The bag stays on the ground, along with the mood. But then, surprise! A car enters the scene. The driver watches everything calmly, backs up, moves forward, backs up again, looking undecided. Just looking, because he's no ordinary driver. He's a police officer known for his precise pointer. When the scam rider realizes it, he blurts out, "Hey, hold on, there's no inspection today." But the specialist was already prepared. Then comes the famous musical dialogue. Pew, pew, pew. Seeing the situation was going to continue without an appointment, the scam rider decides to end the session himself. He speeds off and shouts from afar, "Hey, cancel everything! I'm not coming back!" The officer even tries to follow, but the patient ended the visit before filling out the form. Either way, the message was clear. No injuries were reported to the officer. A late-night visitor showed up at a pizzeria, tool in hand, and that look of someone ready to take everything, even the napkins, to go. No delivery delay, no angry customer, just the classic representative of the famous grab, go, and goodbye ink. He walked in with style, already announcing he wanted everything on the counter. And to top it off, he wore a mask so unusual it looked like leftover carnival costume. But he didn't expect the pizza chef to be in patient until page 2 mode. The cook stared at the rolling pin, took a deep breath, and waited for the perfect moment. When the visitor lowered his head, whack! A culinary adjustment so impressive that even a championship referee would raise an eyebrow. The fellow hit the floor, the tool slid to the side, and witnesses say he saw more lights than a holiday store display. With the noise, the pizzeria staff rushed over, testing the rolling pin like it was a brand new gadget from a food expo. Only then did they realize the man's tool was barely fit for cracking open a coconut. In the end, the nighttime performer left accompanied by official transportation, off to spend some time at the well-known House of Equals, where the menu is fixed and the room is shared.
Our improv genius decides to hop on the motorcycle of a hard-working delivery rider. The delivery guy, startled, does what many true Brazilians would do. He pushes the intruder, drops the bike to the ground, and shouts, "Not this one, my friend!" Moto burro, our motor dummy, thinking he's a pro race mechanic, starts trying to start the bike with the pedal. He tries once, nothing. Tries again, stumbles. Insists a bit more, and the bike insists on staying on the ground. From a distance, it looked like a live patience test. Meanwhile, an on-duty police officer, the barefoot but fast type, notices the scene and heads in his direction. He didn't even need to do much. Moto burro was already so worn out he practically gave up just by seeing the officer approach. Bike recovered, improvised rider detained, and the officer's sandal picked up afterward.
The clock was just about to hit 3 in the afternoon. A car was parked, passenger door open, 2 people chatting behind the vehicle, just a normal daytime scene. Suddenly, 2 cars stop in the middle of the street. Out of them step 3 asphalt professionals with that posture of people who came to close a very questionable deal. The passenger, quicker than everyone else there, jumps back into the armored car and shuts the door. The pedestrians, not really understanding what's going on, wisely move away. The improv crew is left without a plan. They pull on the door, it doesn't open. One of them, in a burst of creativity, decides to take it out on the tire, as if that would solve anything. While they try to figure out why nothing is working, the driver of the luxury car reacts calmly, shifts gears, accelerates, and pushes the negotiator's vehicle out of the way. End result, the armored car continues on its way, and the trio is left with one more embarrassing chapter on their resume.